Hello, Baker Financial Institution students. So this is our final week, so I just want to say I've enjoyed working with you all this past 7 weeks. I know I've worked with many of you before, and I wish you well. Hopefully you'll be approaching graduation here soon. So anyway, for this week, main things, I'm going to read chapters 23, 24, do the problems from those chapters. You'll have your final quiz, final paper. That's the most important thing. So I'm looking for that is 6 to 8 pages, including cover page, references, and work in between. Ideally around 6 to 8. If you go over, that's okay, but just don't have less. There should be plenty to write about based on all those topics and subheadings that I've talked about to cover in your paper. So a little bit of overview for this week, what we're going to cover. First, in chapter 23, managing credit risk. Different techniques that financial institutions use, such as screening, loan commitments, collateral, compensating balances, credit rationing. One of the big things that this first chapter talks about is the managing of interest rate risk, in particular to the sensitivity of your assets and liabilities, knowing that interest rates can change. And depending, like the textbook gives the example, if we go from a 10% to 11% in a interest rate change, and you have so many assets and liabilities, well, depending on which position you're in, which you'll look at, you'll calculate in your readings and income gap analysis that can affect the bottom line in income. Again, making these assumptions that all interest rates are going to change the same. Now, that's one little caveat, is that bank manager is going to have to look a little bit more closely to understand which types of assets and liabilities will change and by how much in the direction of interest rates. But we looked at duration already. We examined financial instruments such as bonds, but you're going to be applying that to looking at duration gap analysis. So, and this applies to, as interest rates change, what happens to the worth of some of these assets and liabilities. Because we know for bonds, that it's an inverse relationship. With interest rates go up, the present value goes down, and vice versa. So a bank manager is going to try to want to hedge that or manage the risk. And one way they can do that is definitely by changing the asset and liabilities on their balance sheet. For example, in the textbook on page 574, one way is increase average duration by 2.84 years were part of their solution. So, but another way is that bank managers may want to hedge, or financial institutions may want to hedge, is just engaging in derivatives. And we think about derivatives that they derive their values from some other underlying security. So, from a financial institution, they could take a long, buying an asset, or going short, delivering an asset. But as a bank manager or financial institution manager, you're concerned about what happens if price changes or interest rates change or FX exchange. So a lot of the next chapter goes into all the different ways that a financial institution manager can hedge some of that risk. One is simply just a forward rate agreement to exchange, two products or interest rates in the future, but these are a little bit harder to come by to find that other party. There's also default liquidity risk, but they give the example in the textbook, like a First National Bank, and an insurance company, where First National Bank is trying to sell bonds to an insurance company, and they can just say that, hey, I will agree 1 year from now to deliver these, but they still face potential risk, if interest rates change, the value. So, but another way we can look at this, and finding the difficulty to find someone, is that we can probably engage in a futures contract. So with the futures contract, essentially, if you're going long, okay, you're anticipating, well, let me just reemphasize this. Going long, say you're buying a contract on $100,000 treasuries, you're agreeing to purchase, short, selling a contract, agreeing to sell a specific price. So the textbook example that they give into position is that, if you agree to buy and you say the price drops from 115K to 110, that you've agreed to buy it at 115 and it goes to 110, well, you could have bought it much cheaper, so you lost, but on the other side, the person has won. So most of this, though, what you're trying to do is not gamble here. You're trying to offset potential losses or protect gains. And that's what most people do. With the futures, as long as you have the underlying asset, um, you can hedge with it. So you're taking a position. So I'll use just for example, like the textbook talked about euros quite a bit. So if you have to deliver, you have made a deal where you have to deliver euros 6 months from now, you're worried about the price of the euro going up. So you would want to take a long position, betting that the price would go up. So if 6 months from now, let's say that the euro is trading at $1.15, and 6 months from now you worry that it's going to go up to $1.20, it's going to cost you more, going to cost you more US dollars to buy those euros. You can go into long position. Somebody has to take that opposite position, and if the price does go up to 120, I'm sorry, to $1.20, in that case, you have to pay more for the market, but you've gained on that position. So you've offset that potential risk. So, but you're going to read a lot more about these. You're going to read about options too. As an options to do that, you could have the right to buy euros at $1.20. The problem with that is that that these option contracts are underwritten by someone. They're going to try to make a profit off that. So there's still the cost of buying those options too. So it is one way to hedge a particular portfolio, or to hedge a particular interest that you have. Finally, the textbook is going to talk about interest rate swaps. Where somebody might have a fixed asset and another one has a variable asset. And as we talked about earlier about the duration gap, or the gap in general, with any changes in interest rates, one thing they could do, without having to deal with all the transactions costs to reposition their assets and liabilities, they could engage in a swap. So if one party was worried about, potentially interest rates going up and not, having fixed rate assets, one thing they kind of showed in the textbook is that maybe the finance company is willing to give them a variable rate. At the same time, the finance company had a need to protect themselves with a fixed amount of rates, a fixed coupon payment, if you will, because they were maybe worried about rates going down. So kind of depends on where your position is with assets to liabilities. But we can do these with currency too. You can have swaps. The textbook also talks about credit derivatives, credit options, credit-linked notes, and the credit default swaps. And basically, you're ensuring the risk that something doesn't default. This is what really got the subprime crisis, I guess a lot of these companies like A&G and others in trouble, that led to the subprime crisis, is they wrote a lot of these credit default swaps, never thinking that these mortgage-backed securities would fail, or the housing market would fail. So of course, there are advantages and disadvantages of swaps. Advantages, obviously, reducing the transaction cost, but disadvantages, can still be that there's bankruptcy involved for financial institutions. Are they actually going to be able to deliver the payment? The good thing is it's not the entire assets; it's just that cash flow of the payments from that particular security or liability. So anyway, that's it for this week. So I want you all to have hope you had a happy Easter. And then again, if you do have any questions, especially with paper, do send me an email. But definitely after the class is done, make sure to get everything in before the Sunday at midnight before class is over. But I should have everything graded by the following the Tuesday after we wrap up. So take care and have a great week.